Hey, I'm Chase. I build random things, and I bought floors from Home Depot. So I bought the flooring from Home Depot, and I'm opting for a combination of DIY and having them install. So what I am doing is I am going to be doing the baseboards myself, so I'm not going to be using quarter round and removing and replacing the base moldings myself. I'm also going to be removing the carpeting to save myself a good amount of money. And the last thing I'm going to do as well is going to be removing the dishwasher and replacing the dishwasher so we don't have to use a plumber. So the plumber doesn't have to show up, disconnect it, and then come back the following day. So what's the deal with the quarter round and why am I doing that myself? So one of the reasons that they do the quarter round is because it's just flat out, it's easier to do because you don't have to remove the moldings. The problems is that you have the molding flooring that goes up, that they butt up to it. And there's normally a gap in there. There's normally a gap. So they'll cover that gap with a piece of this quarter round material. Now, in my opinion and my wife's opinion, we don't like that look. In order to achieve that look, what we have to do is we have to remove the base moldings, put the flooring in, and then put those moldings back over the top.
We'll start with the tile.
Start over here in this area. First, I need to peel off these moldings here so I can get to the tile. As you can see, the moldings themselves are kind of beat up, so I'm going to pull them off, replace them where necessary, and then repaint as well.
So when you're doing it, make sure that you don't pull from the top and rip it off because you will break your moldings in half. So you put the pry bar underneath and push up. So once the moldings are removed, we can put that pry bar underneath and start just beating away and pulling this tile up. Some tile will just like pop right off, but this one is quite a bit more complicated than I thought. It's getting really frustrated. I ended up spending a couple hours here. I just started beating on it, thinking that this might help because it'd be in smaller pieces.
So by this point, I'd been working on it so long and I was getting so frustrated, so I decided to pick up the phone and call my father-in-law, who is a contractor across the country, and ask him what he would do.
That cement won't scrape off the plywood?
I mean,
That's a tough one.
as you can imagine, this is not what I wanted to hear because he suggested cutting out the subfloor and putting in a new subfloor, which is a pretty substantial job. I ended up calling the installers and they said, oh yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. Best case, it'll be about, a couple $100.
I needed to pull all the moldings out from everywhere around the living room. Tip here, draw a little map of where those moldings are. Label each of the moldings as you pull them off. And then once you're ready to go, you just grab the edge of the carpet and pull it right back. And it comes right off. So you have the padding underneath you have to remove, which is also stapled to the floor. And then you have these furring strips with the nails on them that you also have to remove. Pull all the carpet out. You just pick it up, pull it, it comes right off. Cut it at various steps so you can actually remove the carpet. Otherwise, it'll come off in one big piece and be hard to carry. And then we're popping off the gripper strips is you just put the pry bar underneath and you just try to get the nails as you're going. Now on the padding underneath, you can go one by one, but the way that I found is what you're seeing here. I just take that pry bar and just scrape it across the floor and it'll just pop those staples right off. So now we're all ready to go. All the flooring is removed. We got the flooring in the house. We did have to remove the appliances so they could come in. There's the tile that is still remaining that we will get out. The last thing as well is when you're pulling out the floor, you need to check your subfloor. As you see here, the floor is squeaking, so you want to take care of that. And the way you'll do that is just by driving some additional screws through the floor into the floor joists.
So now we're all prepped and ready for the installers to come in and install our floors. And all I can say is it really helps having the right tools and actually knowing what it is you're doing.
So it works having a power tool rather than using a pry bar and a hammer. So he just came in seriously 3 minutes and got all that tile off. Took a 7-inch angle grinder, then was able to hook up the shop vac and suck everything up. So he just grinded the floor down. It took him no time at all. And then he went through and a couple hours later we had a floor. So now we just got to get the moldings prepped and ready to go. So the first step with the moldings is you want to remove all the nails. Grip as close on the back side, and then you just roll the pliers back, and it will easily pull the nails out. There are a bunch of the divot holes, etc. There is some other paints areas, and they're all generally just kind of dinged up. Put some paint on all of them, freshen them up a bit. We're ready for reinstall. We'll pull out the nailer and just start putting all those moldings in all the way around. Thing of caulk, and important thing here is that it is paintable. And with the caulk, this is probably the most important step of doing the moldings, because you have a lot of work that goes into it, and you can see gaps without doing the caulk. So you put a very thin layer on it, you rub your finger over it, and you notice there are some little marks here. So all we have to do in this step is just pull the paintbrush back out and just lightly touch up where we use that caulk. And we now have our floors.
All in all, I'm really happy with how it all turned out, and I was able to save a fair amount of money by DIYing some of it myself. So thanks for building with me today. I'll see you next time.